Traders, Gary Wagner with WFGForex.com, your daily market update for Forex Gold. It is the 10th day of August. It is Tuesday, and this is the daily report. Gold has had a low today of 1196. We're going to talk about that and our stop in a second. But as we speak, it is currently staging a small rally. When I started looking at the markets this morning, we did have a small black, almost a hangman sort of a candle, and that's moving into white territory. As you can see, it is getting kind of active here in the market, and it is a very interesting day here in Forex Gold. Forex Gold is currently staging a nice little rally here, currently trading at 1204. As far as our stop goes, we have a stop at 1190. Let me pull up an intraday chart to show you just how close it came to that stop, but it looks as though the markets happen to be on our side this morning in that stop we actually eluded getting it filled. Let me show you our intraday chart. Hold on for a second here, traders. This is the intraday chart. This is a 15-minute candlestick chart. And as you can see, this is that rally that we're currently staging right now at 1204. And if we look at the lows of these candles right in here, what you will see is that the low that it did reach, that would be this candle right here, the low that it reached was 1190.78, 1190.78. So in fact, it did not hit our stop this morning, and we are still in the market for this nice ride back to the upside. Even as we speak, this market continues to rally higher, going and testing just a few seconds ago 1206, and as you can see, it is now trading at the top of its range. There's almost no wick at the top of this. We've gone from having a black candle trading through the night as it traded down in these lows, converting into a doji, and now into a candlestick that's forming almost a hammer-like candle in that it's got this long wick and this smaller body. The beauty about a hammer or hangman, especially when we see it in a marketplace like this, is the fact that when they drove the market down to these lows here, what happened was buying did come into the market, buying did ensue, and they were able to push the market back to the upside itself. The interesting thing, of course, is although we came within, I would say, 75 cents to $1 of our stop being hit, in fact, we are still long in this market, and we're able to see where this marketplace itself wants to go. As I talked about yesterday, when we look at straight Elliott wave, for those of you who have followed it closely and have gotten into kind of the minutiae or the detail of the theory, each large wave, in other words, this wave A or this wave B, let me put it up on the board for us, this being our wave A and this being our impulse wave B, each wave, according to Elliott wave theory, is composed of what I will call subwaves. In other words, each large wave that is a regular wave, this being the corrective wave, typically will have what is called a 5 count, and typically, and I underline the word typically because it obviously doesn't always happen, and I can show you in wave 4 where it did not, but typically on a corrective wave, and this B wave is a corrective wave within a corrective phase. In other words, it's going counterclockwise to the direction, the overall trend of this particular phase, that will have a 3 count. So that if we look at it and we put in the count, how would that actually look? Let me go ahead and draw that in for us, traders. So that might look something like this. In other words, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This would give us our 5 or the subwave within this longer A wave. In the same way, and I am speculating right now because it's obviously too early to tell, what we might be witnessing on this B wave is, as I talked about the other day, I expected a little bit of a dip, and if this is all the dip we're going to get, that is the market itself, and then a move back up something like this, so that this subwave could be considered A, B, and C, and this being our waves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be the subwave within this A and B wave right here. Traders, I'm just simply amazed right now at how close we came to getting hit, but actually didn't get hit. I've put up our crosshairs on our daily chart, and as you can see, our low of the day is 1190.50, coming within 50 cents of actually triggering that stop. Just amazing. And now that we see that our stop hasn't been hit, let's go back to the real world and calculate what we're looking at and what we think in terms of potential. Traders, we still do have resistance here at our Fibonacci 38% level, and that's roughly at 1211, 1212, right in this area here. As you can see, we haven't made a try for it, but over the last 3 days, we have had a series of lower highs. And what I want to be able to see is if the market's going to generate a little bit of support and a base in this area, if it has the ability to come in and actually take out that resistance area right now, and if so, where is the market going to go? If it cannot, is this going to be the top of the market? I had one of our subscribers actually email me this morning and ask me why I haven't mentioned this apex as a possible top. And I feel if one of my subscribers is asking the question, there could be a myriad of subscribers that are thinking that but haven't asked me. So let me go ahead and address that. When a market is moving up, especially in the way that this market has been moving up, until we see indications in terms of a candlestick pattern that's showing me we've got a bearish reversal, although I see it being stalled and hitting resistance, I have not gotten a clear indication that the market itself is going to turn around and head back south or head back lower. So that when I'm looking at where the apex might be in a particular wave, the only thing I can really do to protect equity within my clients is to suggest trailing stops and then look for points in which it's stalling. The first indication of any kind of a stall pattern, of course, is when it hits resistance, such as it's hit here, and is backing off of that resistance. But what we need to see after that is some sort of confirmation. In other words, if this dark cloud cover had in fact confirmed on today's trading, that would have indicated that this 1211 is the possible apex or top of the market. However, because we saw this market move, this sustained rally moving it back up, it's now backed off a little bit at about 1204. It hasn't given me a signal vis-a-vis a candlestick pattern that this is a potential top. Traders, once again, we're off to a most interesting start this week in the gold market. Please remember that up until August the 20th, I am offering our referral program. In other words, I'm offering all of you subscribers the opportunity to allow a friend, an associate, a fellow trader to have the same quality information that you've been receiving, have grown to know and trust and like, and at the same time give yourself a free month by doing that. Simply have the subscribers go to the website address that you see on the screen now, have them enter the code that you see on the screen now. In other words, after they subscribe, they will receive a question, and the question will say, how did they hear about us? And in that box, they simply need to add your name, and that way I can properly credit your account and give you your next month free also. This has been Gary Wagner with WFGForex.com, wishing you, as always, good trading. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.